confrontational war, definitely, and as well as an economic war that is starting to strain not only neighborhoods in the Middle East, but there has been chaos reported in Bangladeshi petrol stations all throughout the weekend. Even after the government saying that there is enough reserve for this nation, our nation, Bangladesh, to continue, people are understanding the longevity of the war that they assume that has started taking place last weekend. Of course, right now, there are two other nations that are in the face of U.S. Meddling, if you would call it. There is Ecuador in a special movement. They're trying to break down these narco trafficking groups and gangs, as well as Cuba, another nation. Both of these nations are from the Latin Americans, and it's important to understand how the world chessboard is playing. Now, I want to look at the world as a chessboard because moves are being played at every angle. We see a huge fire engulfing Kuwait City Tower as Donald Trump is accusing Keir Starmer of joining the war after they have already won. These are the comments, not my comments. These are the comments that are on the popular tabloids from around the world that I am bringing for our viewers to understand. I want to come to John Dalton. You were hearing Norman Floyd Barnes talking about all the issues that are important. We also find an issue. The U.S. Embassy in Oslo was hit by an explosion just early hours this morning. Being in a U.S. consulate seems to me very dangerous to me and dangerous to people worldwide. We've seen an incident happening in Karachi, Pakistan. Almost 9 people were shot and killed last week. So all of this together, what is your observation? How are you seeing this? Norman definitely believes it's World War III.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there yet. I think it's definitely a destabilizing situation because of the economic dimension. And I want to go back to something that Norman did say about the fact that if you look at the asymmetry, I mean, the United States and Israel are spending $1 million to shoot down a $25,000 drone. And they have an unlimited supply of drones. And they can manufacture them, and they have been supplying them to Russia as part of their investment in Russia's war in Ukraine. So I worry that at a certain point in time, they will upgrade the weapons that they're being used for attack to hypersonic missiles and other kind of more targeted ballistic missiles that are not so easily shot down. And therefore, the batteries that are existing in some of these Gulf states and some of these, even in Israel itself, the dome, will not be effective against such hypersonic missiles. And the balance of power will shift dramatically in favor of Iran. And our allies, which are already being persecuted because of their association with the United States bases in the Gulf region, may become even less likely to join with America with the USA in any more strategic initiatives. Okay.
Right.
So I worry that China may come in and provide weapons. I also hold out the hope that since China negotiated some sort of an agreement in the past between Iran and Saudi Arabia, that maybe China would want to take a more conciliatory tone, not to prolong the war, because as Norman pointed out, 60% of their industry and industrial growth is based upon oil from the Gulf. Right. So it would be in China's interest either to source oil elsewhere, as you and I have talked about privately, or alternatively, so come in and see if they can mediate in this situation. China is not a natural arbiter between the United States and anybody, but as a way to kind of short circuit this war and keep it from going too far out of control. The longer it goes on, the more dangerous it becomes.
Of course, this is important as we see fire burning in Tehran streets after Israeli strikes on oil depots. So the energy infrastructure has been effectively targeted across Iran. And of course, last year we've also seen how the bunker busting bombs that the US deployed, how they have actually stopped the nuclear provisions that Iran was supposed to have. All of this combined, do you believe that this war may be prolonged? Some are saying that this will drag on to the rest of the year, well before the midterm elections.
Yeah, Norman said that. You know, the longer it goes, the more dangerous it is also for the Republican Party in the midterms. I personally think that this is going to be like rope-a-dope with Ali and Foreman fighting in Zaire. I think that they're going to come a time when they're just simply, both sides become a little bit exhausted and look for some sort of mediation. As I said, I hope it could be China. They've done it before. If it's not China, somebody else can intercede. But Israel's reputation is declining markedly by the attacks that they're doing in Lebanon. They're showing
They've got into a ground incursion with southern
yeah,
Lebanon.
but they're showing how bellicose and how belligerent they are. That it, that's so that when you look at Iran, you believe, well, these people, Gaza, Lebanon, Iran, they attack everybody. There's something wrong with a country whose primary mission is to destroy other people's property and other people's rights. So Israel is losing face on the international arena, I believe. And I think there'll come a time when it may be difficult for them to recapture that, their image. So let me comment 1 second also on the shortages here, on what happened.
Right.
I think rationing is never a logical solution to a commodity which is very much in demand.
Yeah,
So
I
before
believe it's
the
a
shortage,
time bomb. It's a matter of
before the
time.
shortage came up, they already indicated 2 liters for motorcycles, 10 liters for sedans. So people were under the impression that if they don't go out now and get petrol and octane, they are not going to be able to have any, perhaps. So they created the lines. It would have been better to sort of monitor the situation, see how things were going, and then come in with a policy. But a preemptive policy like this created the lines. Yeah. This has happened when I was in Sri Lanka 2 years ago, when the government, for financial reasons, the queues for the cereals that they call them, for the gas stations were immense. They'd go for like 20 miles. People lining up because the government was unable to pay to bring in the fuel. We have already Bangladesh has already bought 2 tankers on the spot market. Pretty expensive, double the price, but that seems to be the way that they can address this problem.